I've been on the internet for a long time, and now I finally have enough retard points to make a video like this.
Each totem on the pole is a simple...
This is going to be more of a rant style video. It's not going to really be that structured. I'll probably have like transitional slides, which you may or may not have just seen one. But I just pretty much just want to talk about what's on my mind, basically involving a couple things. Kind of the most recent Idubbz thing really made me kind of take another look at a lot of YouTubers that I used to watch when I was younger, or that used to upload more around like the 2010s time period, that I was really into, just to kind of look at them again and see how much they've changed. And I think I'll only talk about at least like 4 or 5 that have really changed that much, in my opinion. And of course, just like I said earlier, I do want to talk about the Idubbz thing, which is what I'm going to talk about first. So, in case you didn't see it, he had an interview on Anthony Padilla's channel. Basically, he went on there and talked to him. As I kind of got from that is that I guess that they've been talking to each other for a while, which that was pretty cool. Then I guess to finally see them do something together. But basically, they kind of talked about how his content has shifted and if he wants it to shift. And this was an interesting question, because this is where he got the famous clip of saying that he doesn't really care for his fans. And I frankly don't really blame him. If he's really wants to get away from that style of content, I wouldn't like my fans either. If I was trying to get away from that style of content, specifically, that one's probably the hardest to get out of. This isn't a simple situation where he's just switching over. This is like people who were waiting to see his next hit piece on somebody. So these types of people were there to kind of get in the drama, wanted to be in the drama head first, and now he doesn't really want anything to do with it. Which is why I think a video like the Sam Hyde video irked him so much, was because Sam Hyde had created, I guess, drama for him. But if I'm being honest with you, I think Idubbz, and especially his wife, are what ended up stirring up most of the drama. Basically, Sam Hyde's big theme in the video was that, Anissa, Idubbz' wife, is basically controlling him, and he can't be as edgy as he used to be because of her. And I don't know if it's necessarily because of her. It might be because he's married now, he feels like he's older and that he shouldn't do it anymore. It might endanger them or something, but I don't know if she directly did anything, or at least I thought that maybe she didn't directly do anything, but her mother seems quite passionate about that on Twitter, which is very bizarre. I've never seen anyone's mom come to fight for them online before. That was definitely pretty funny. I've never seen that, but yeah, that was pretty much most of it, is that her mom came in and started defending him. And if I'm being honest with you, he started to catch flack the more that he's kind of laid into her, basically. Like when she got outed as having an OnlyFans and him being okay with it, did actually stir up people quite a bit more than I thought it would. Simply because it was just that his fans were so used to him being like crazy, over the top, takes no shit from no one, and then all of a sudden switching to being like, guys, I'm okay with my girlfriend doing this, when this was something that he would make fun of other people for doing, basically. It seemed kind of odd. But in the video he made, he had good enough points that I could kind of understand it. I mean, I kind of had a similar position on it, as if, hey, if she's making income and he's getting some of that income, it's not necessarily going to make him upset. At the end of the day, I mean, it's his choice, but I understand why people were so upset with it, because it just seemed like something so uncharacteristic for him. But yeah, I mean, Idubbz as a whole, he's changed a decent bit. I will definitely say that. Him wanting to do like a big YouTube boxing event is really cool, and the fact that he did it in such a different way was also pretty cool. Now, I don't really care about the second creator clash that much. I don't know a lot of the creators there, so therefore I don't really have a desire to even watch it. But the last one was great. I loved watching all the matches. There was some really good fights in there. It just seemed like a fun time. I liked the commentators he had. It was a funny thing that he did, definitely. But the problem is with Idubbz specifically right now is Sam Hyde. Sam Hyde is genuinely a person that seemingly gets under his skin at every single moment that he can. And that's a bit infuriating because Idubbz has always been the person where he's like, I don't take crap from nobody, but in his documentary video, he found out that he was being punked by Sam Hyde pretty much the whole time. Now, I can say I'm happy he uploaded it at least, which shows me that he still is like, hey, yeah, I got punked. I looked really, really dumb here, but I want to post this anyway. And then Sam Hyde's perspective was also very interesting, kind of seeing both sides of it. Was actually a pretty cool way for that video to go. But specifically, I guess he kind of sees Sam as a shadow of his past self, and he really dislikes him. And so does his wife. I actually think his wife probably dislikes him more than he does, because she's the one that seemingly gets so upset with it. Because one of the fighters ended up simply practicing with Sam Hyde, and then he got mad about it, is definitely a very stupid reason to kick him out of the fight. But I've seen a lot of people also echo that statement as well. Most people seem to be in agreement that, yeah, this is pretty stupid. I even thought it was really dumb when Sam Hyde was saying how he was banned from the last Creator Clash. I think that's just stupid. Like, what is he genuinely gonna do when he's there? He might be loud and obnoxious and stupid, but if I'm being honest with you, all that's going to do is simply just rile up the crowd. I mean, I don't see a problem with it. All he can do is say, this guy sucks, and then people in the crowd will start bad-mouthing him, and then he can make a video on that, or he could simply just root them on as a joke, and either way is fine. That's what I don't get. That's why I think Sam Hyde is so wanting to be ingrained in this, simply because, one, I mean, it seems like he likes to box. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he did. But the other thing is with that is I think that it would be interesting if they had him there. I would love to see him box, for being honest with you, and I'm sure he would too. But it's just so weird that he wants to kind of censor him. I don't get that at all. I don't know why. I would be interested to see him make a video on that. I don't know if he will. He very well might. Because the more Sam Hyde stuff I keep seeing, the more I kind of don't know. I mean, we could even, at some point, get another content cop on Sam Hyde. That would be bizarre. I do not think that will happen, because he's stressed multiple times that he kind of doesn't want to really stir up any drama anymore, which is totally understandable, because his community will outright go and attack people. But at some point, Sam Hyde might actually get him to his boiling point, and he might just be like, alright, I don't give a shit. Anybody can go attack him. I don't care. And I could genuinely see that happening. Which would be weird, because I see a lot of the Content Cop videos as being very analytical and fun, while still critiquing and him being upset. But it's not like he's saying, like, I'm attacking you, basically. But his fans took it as, oh, this guy sucks, attack him. Which is not what I think he intended, but I think as he looked at them, he went, this is what's happening. And maybe even a lot of the YouTubers that he was talking about kind of disappearing or getting banned off YouTube is maybe the reason why he stopped. He might have seen that it was destructive, as he wanted to critique someone and tell them how to get better, not necessarily you should be removed. I know that he has said that before in some of those videos, but I genuinely think he didn't exactly want them to be gone. He was just explaining why he dislikes you. Doesn't mean he wants you to be removed. But, like, Leafy got removed, basically, and then he came back, and then he got removed again. And Reichgum just apparently decided to leave on his own. Which, these are all like fine reasons, but I definitely think that the content cop video definitely had something to do with it. Which, funnily enough, both of those videos got removed off of YouTube from his channel. I don't think he deleted them. I'm serious. I think he had to private them because of YouTube's new terms of service. I would love to see him put them back on his channel, as those videos were huge, especially the Rice Gum one. But I guess he got a little bit too crazy in those videos, and YouTube's new terms of service shut him down. Which might also be another reason why he doesn't want to do them anymore, because YouTube's terms of service will hit him for harassment. So, yeah, I ultimately think that Idubbz is fine. I just think that a lot of the new stuff he's doing, like all the toy videos and stuff, I think that those would be much better on his second channel. And if you promote a second channel more, I'd love to see more second channel content where he goes out and traps like critters in his backyard or some shit. I'd love to see more of that. Unfortunately, I do not think he will do that. I think he'll keep uploading those toy videos to his main channel, which are fine, but I kind of wish they weren't as heavily edited. I kind of wish that they were a bit more raw, kind of like his videos on his second channel. But he still seems similar, at least. Like, he doesn't seem like he's changed that much. However, the next one I want to talk about has changed a lot. The next person I want to talk about is H3H3. H3H3 was one of my favorite YouTubers during around like the 2010s period. He was really great. He used to make really good commentary style videos, kind of like Idubbz used to do. They weren't nearly as analytical. They were supposed to be much like goofier, but they were still a ton of fun. Those videos were so much fun to watch, and they still are fun to watch. Watching him make fun of pranksters, or notice that all of a sudden the Bradbury Boys switched over to being Spider-Man Elsa YouTubers, like weird shit like that. He had some really fun videos hidden in there, and out of nowhere, he kind of just switched. And actually, I shouldn't say out of nowhere, because it was happening for a while. And what happened was the H3 podcast happened. That's what happened. The H3 podcast completely changed H3, in my opinion. If you want to see really good videos that go over H3H3's descent, I would highly recommend the videos by Turkey Tom and Nicholas Diorio. Please check those out. Those are great. Those kind of chronicle everything that's happened, because I've been watching him for a while, and even when he got popular, I went back and watched all of his old videos. So I've seen pretty much all of the H3 content, as well as the Idubbz content as before. I used to go back and look at these YouTubers' old content, and I still loved them. But kind of like how Idubbz had his Kickstarter crap series, where he'd just go on Kickstarter and make fun of people, instead H3 would go in and look at pranksters and just basically see what kind of stupid stuff they were doing. And the thing that H3 was known for was his really good live action skits. He used to do great skits at the beginning and end of his video to kind of have a conclusive point at the end. And I wouldn't even say he was being malicious that much, because Idubbz was definitely being way more malicious. He was more of just kind of clowning on them, being like, this is weird, this is dumb, making silly noises, and then screaming about it. That's what made his content fun, was that type of stuff. But what people don't want is to see you call in bomb threats on the NRA. That's not fun. And he, out of everybody, is one of the saddest ones that I've kind of watched for a while, because he has changed so much. Like, he's like almost a totally different person, it feels like now. Ever since the podcast, he kind of shifted. It kind of just more seemed like what's good for the podcast. He kind of created his own little echo chamber that was separate from his regular YouTube content, basically. He started way leaning into politics, which I have no problem if any YouTuber ever wants to be brave enough to show off their whatever they believe in, basically, or like what their politics are. I don't really care, if I'm being honest with you. But the problem with it is that if you've already shown yourself as being a creator, and all of a sudden you've switched on a dime and are like, well, now I'm gonna start really talking about this stuff, and I'm gonna get upset. And all I'm gonna do now is going to be very like politics based. And I'm not saying everything he does is like that, but whenever there's some type of political spat, he always has to talk about it, pretty much. Or he has to intervene, which is exactly what he did with the NRA stuff. That was annoying. He literally called the NRA and basically said that he was going to tell a really funny joke, which was bombing the building, which, I mean, that's pretty silly, that he wanted to bomb the building, which he didn't actually want to. He was joking. But unfortunately, that's not a very fun thing to joke about, and people will take that very seriously. So him joking about that was definitely a bit edgy, which, I mean, at least he was fitting that old YouTube style mold. He was being really edgy with it, but still does not mean he could technically get away from that. It didn't really bother me too much, but it definitely made me kind of go, I don't really want to watch him anymore. And that was one of the big moments that kind of cut me off from him. And just a lot of the podcast is just so boring. It's not that entertaining to me at all. The only time it was a bit entertaining is when he had guests. Podcast that I remember from H3 was the one where he had Alex Hirsch and Justin Roiland on, and he had Justin prank call the Joel Osteen church. I thought that was really funny. They had a lot of great moments on that stream, and the whole thing went to charity. It was just an overall good stream. They had a lot of people there. They seemed like they were having a fun time, but around the time that Frenemies happened, which if you don't know what that is, one of the people that H3 used to beef with a lot was Trisha Paytas, who has made some very interesting content, like ASMR, like fucking an alien or something like that. It was pretty... She started doing some interesting things, but basically she had gone on the podcast with H3, and this was a great idea to have them both be on it. And he didn't want them to be on there as friends. Both of them, they didn't. They just simply wanted to have a discussion podcast, basically. They wanted them to argue, they wanted them to disagree, and it was a really interesting idea for a podcast. But then as she started like voicing her complaints with it, that she doesn't feel like the staff are hers, she just feels like she's like a little piece of him, basically. She didn't feel like she had enough identity with it, that she didn't want to do it anymore. And of course, there was a whole thing about that, but I'm not going to talk about that. But that was kind of where he started to really decline, as people started to realize that they were way more interested in Ethan if Trisha was there. And then when she was gone, they were like, well, then what's the point of watching this? So he got more guests and basically got more and more and more guests, but it never felt the same. And I would absolutely love to see an old style H3H3 video now. I would love to see that, but I don't think we're gonna get it. I kind of think he is done making those types of videos. If he did make one of those types of videos, I would love to watch it, and I would watch it, even though I previously said that I don't really care for him. But I think ultimately the reason why I don't care for him is because the only content he's released has been that type of stuff, where it's just him being boring on a podcast. So I can definitely say that one's very unfortunate compared to most of the YouTubers I watch. The next one I want to talk about is a really big one. It was one of the huge reasons why I wanted to make this video, and they are one of the YouTube groups that I have watched for a long time. They were one of the first YouTube videos I had ever watched, which was Game Grumps. They had some of the first content I had ever seen on YouTube, because when I was younger, I used to go on Newgrounds all the time, and pretty much I remembered watching a Egoraptor video, and he had said, hey, if you want to see all my cartoons, go on YouTube. So I remembered clicking on that and then going to YouTube and then finding out what Game Grumps was, as a lot of the animations I was watching on the channel at that time were older. So he had uploaded them on YouTube. Like Game Grumps had already existed for like a year at that point or something. I don't even remember, but Game Grumps had existed for like a year. And I believe they had the channel trailer on the Game Grumps YouTube channel. I think that was like one of the first videos on that channel, but I believe they also uploaded it to Egoraptor, and they might have even uploaded it to JohnTron, who was the original part of that duo, being Egoraptor, Aaron, and then JohnTron. And John would later leave, and people are still uncovering stuff of why John might have left all the time. I personally don't know, but I would have loved if he would have stayed, but then again, he wouldn't have been able to make the videos he's making now. When a lot of YouTubers who are older kind of get washed up, even if they're still making great videos and people are watching them, they're nowhere near as energetic and crazy as they used to be. And John isn't either, but John's videos are highly edited with a ton of skits, and they're really funny. And even the most recent JohnTron video, which I believe was the dating show one, still felt like how his videos felt a long time ago when I used to watch them, because I found out who John was through Aaron because of Game Grumps. So when John left, I was disappointed. And then he was replaced with Dan, which Danny in the beginning was really good, but it kind of seemed as the more that the channel went on, it started to become more of like a guy and his boss sitting on a couch, not two friends. It didn't feel like that anymore. When John was there, it really felt like that more, but then it kind of turned into a weirder situation with that. And nothing against Danny, if I'm being honest with you. Danny's pretty chill, but it's mostly involving Aaron, because after John left, he kind of overhauled the company. He hired an editor, he replaced John with, I believe, Ross and Danny. Ross was another animator from Newgrounds that they were close with, as well as he was friends with a lot of Newgrounds animators, as that's what he was. They were friends with him, which that's when things got a little interesting, was when basically an animator on YouTube named Senior Palo, who makes really good videos. Senior Palo made a video on storytime animators, and once again, this content did not seem malicious at all, as the characters were stomping around and slapping each other and being stupid, and he was purposefully making fun of them, but not basically going like, this guy sucks, not like an Idubbz video. It was very just comedic. It was supposed to be comedic, 100%. There was no ill will passed to anyone, basically. Just a funny critique that he noticed. But basically, he had made this video, and Aaron took great offense to it. He went on Twitter and started being a little baby about it. And basically, what happened was that all of his old Newgrounds friends kind of chimed in and was like, Aaron, you used to make stuff like this, and kind of explained it to him. He kind of basically said that, oh, I'm kind of done. That was the old me. I'm not like that anymore. And the thing that was kind of a little bit upsetting to see was that he kind of expressed that the people that he was friends with before, that he can't be friends with them anymore simply because of this stupid thing. And that was upsetting to kind of see a lot of that community, which Aaron Egoraptor was one of the biggest animators on Newgrounds. He was friends with a lot of people, and every one of those friends kind of got left behind. And that was pretty sad, because you kind of got to see that on Twitter, because I hate Twitter, but that one, since I'd been involved with it for so long, I kind of wanted to see that take place, simply because it was a bit upsetting to kind of see them basically be like, well, I guess this isn't going to work anymore. And I'm not going to talk about the other stuff that happened when Chris Onieng was there in the office with them, and all that stuff that happened there. But basically, there was a game called Dream Daddy, and one of the editors that he had basically simply said, I don't think this game is very good. And the whole the entire office kind of gave him an interesting look for the rest of the time of him being there, which isn't right at all. So that was a very sad situation to learn. But yeah, Game Grumps was definitely the one that hit me the hardest, simply because that was a channel I've been watching for such a long time that hearing kind of them not want to really speak to each other anymore, more of Aaron, like Korea, Spaz Kid, basically expressed that the owner of Newgrounds, Tom Fulp, had been trying to reach out for him for a really long time, and Aaron was kind of ghosting him. But recently, Aaron uploaded something to his Ego Raptor channel, which, holy crap, he hasn't uploaded anything in a very long time. He uploaded a new animation, and I will say, it felt like an older Ego Raptor cartoon, not his really old ones. It was nowhere near that offensive, but the way it was animated and the voices he was doing, it felt like an old Ego Raptor cartoon. The problem is now is he separated himself so far from that community that I knew people noticed, but no one talked about it, which is upsetting. But yeah, Game Grumps slowly started to decline. I stopped watching them, I would probably say, for 5 years now, maybe. But that one was very, very disappointing to me. Yeah, but pretty much this video is just a way for me to kind of test getting back into editing and stuff again. I do want to upload more. I also want to upload maybe some more like long form content, maybe some gameplay videos, whatever. You guys have been seeing gameplay probably in the background of this video. I don't know what it is yet, but anyway, I hope you liked the video at least. I kind of just said random shit. I didn't really structure this at all. I may have put transitions, but I don't even know. This was mostly just to test the editing software, so I very well might have. But anyway, I don't really know what else to talk about, so yeah, I'll make another video again soon, maybe. I don't know.
For the day I die, I'ma test the sky. Gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day I die.